Hey folks, and welcome. Today I have a super special interview for you. About a year and a half ago, I discovered this incredible company called Sounds of Mazzika. And they actually are the ones who created these fantastic little finger symbol earrings that I am so in love with and I wear all the time, and I have bought for so many of my Zill-friendly friends because they're so unique, so beautifully made. And after buying several pairs of these earrings, I decided I needed to meet the woman behind the company. So I reached out and contacted Angie Assal, who is the founder and the creator of Sounds of Mazzika, and asked to meet with her. And I will say that I was very surprised when I finally did. This woman, who is in her mid-20s, has created an incredible company with an amazing vision, a beautiful product that is the product of an incredible amount of work and dedication, knowledge and study, and passion and love for the arts of the Arab world. And I would love to introduce you to her today. I think you're going to really love her personality, which is so much fun, and hearing about how she created this company, how she creates this beautiful artwork, and what her plans are for her company now that she has decided to dive in and make it her full-time work. So join me in talking with Angie Assal of Sound of Mazzika. So thank you so much, Angie, for joining me. I am so excited to have connected with you after sort of knowing your company and your gorgeous jewelry for a while now, but meeting like the woman behind the genius has been really cool. And I'm excited for, my audience to get to know you better. So thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, not only on this show, but as part of like the Zills challenge that you had. It's just really humbling and like really exciting for people to like support my work and know of my works. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, I think a lot of people might be surprised to see you. I know I was the first time that we logged in on Zoom. I'm like, you're like half the age I expected you to be. and I told you this last time we spoke, but I feel like other people are going to totally understand where I'm coming from here. When I first ordered from you, probably about a year and a half ago, I got these beautiful earrings in the mail in a fabulous package. It was all quick and the customer service was fantastic. The communication was wonderful. And I was like, oh, this is a woman who has been working a business for a while now. I imagined you to be like in your 60s at home creating arts. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you just started this business recently. So I would love for you to tell people about how this business was born, your unique set of talents that brought this together, and why you chose to do what you do.
Okay, so it all started. I started learning derbeke or tabla, darbuka, however people want to call it, mainly for fun. Like I found my dad's old one. My family's from Lebanon. And so I found my dad's old one like in a closet, and I was just like, ooh, and I was messing around with it for a few days and decided to gift myself with like one lesson for my birthday. And I thought it would just be like that one time and kind of whatever, but I always joke like love at first doom. Like I went doom and I was like, I'm gonna be a musician. Like I'm gonna be a musician. And then I started looking online for just kind of like, oh, darbuka earrings, derbeke earrings, tabla earrings, drum earrings, whatever. Could find nothing. Um, so I was like, well, I'm an artiste. And I just love saying that with the little hint of everything. But, I'm an artiste, so let me make them myself. And at the time, I was working in a 3D printing factory. And, so I was around a lot of people. I'd never done 3D printing. Like, I studied sculpture when I was in school, but I never, like, my schedule never worked out that I could take the 3D modeling and printing class that I really wanted to take, but yeah, so I had a coworker teach me how to 3D model. We would stay late after work sometimes by like an hour. And then I decided to make my very first pair just for me and to match my drum. So I wanted just to show you. I always have everything next to me, as you know, like by coincidence. But yeah, so this is like the drum that I based my 3D model on. And the very first earrings, I have them with me this time. The very first earrings, I actually used nail polish to paint them because I didn't really have like a set of acrylic paints. But the colors I've also loved painting my nails since I was like 15. So I have like a ton of nail polish, but these were the very first.
Oh my gosh, that's your tabla. Like that's your drum. And you painted that with nail polish?
Yeah.
That's amazing. They're so cute. I love them.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I would wear these everywhere because I was just like so obsessed with drumming. And I've always loved like quirky jewelry. I have like French toast earrings and gummy worm earrings and all kinds of just like tchotchke stuff. And so I would wear them and I would go on like take the train to my drumming lesson. And people on the train would be like, "Oh my God, like your earrings are so cool. Where'd you get them?" And I was like, "Ooh, I made them." And people would ask me like, "Oh, like what is this, object and whatever." And so I realized, wow, like people who aren't familiar with this are getting to learn about, Arab culture and Arab music. Like a lot of people be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna like Google that later and go on YouTube and listen later." And then people who the drum is like relevant to their culture, so whether it's Greek, Turkish, North African, West Asian, etc. They'd be like, "Oh my God, like darbuka or tabla or and I was just like, wow, I get to sort of have these items that like we can connect to, because I see like other, I've seen like guitar merch and like whatever, and I feel like why don't we have that for Arab instruments? Like let's normalize this and celebrate it. And then it just expanded to like I think like I have like what 60 something designs in like a year.
Oh,
Because I
60 different designs in 1 year. You're prolific. Oh my gosh. Wow.
because I'd be like, ooh, how about this? Like just like design something. And then I'm like, ooh, what about this? And like, ooh, what about this?
That's so
Like,
cool.
I just get like so excited. And then eventually I expanded from just instruments into I made what I call a cultural collection, where it's like items that are relevant, like coffee cups. Like I have oh, it's in front of me. Like this design, like Arabic coffee cups, and they have like fake coffee inside.
Oh my gosh, those are so cute.
Thank you. I'm obsessed with. I say about everything I make. I'm like, I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with this.
Your passion is apparent. Very much so.
And I have things like knefe.
That's incredible. So, I mean, you had this idea, you made it for yourself because you couldn't find it anywhere else. Necessity is the mother of invention. And but you had like this obvious, like perfect joining of skills, right? You're a sculptor, you can 3D print, and so then all of these earrings and jewelry that you're showing right now, they're 3D printed. That's how you make them?
Exactly. And so everything when it's printed is just white. Oops, I almost caught my. Everything when it's printed is just white. And the material that I use for things like this and for these is nylon. And so there's a 3D printing process called SLS, or selective laser sintering. And the way that that process works, people always think of this type of printer. Sorry, I was like, where do I point? When they think of 3D printing, which is what I joke is like a glorified glue gun, where it's just like plastic and the end is really hot, and then so it kind of melts it just enough that it can build layers. And that's where the term additive manufacturing comes from, because you're adding material to build the end product. But with these, you can see the inside. And for the very first pair, I never painted like the inside of anything.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like it's like they were for me, so I didn't care. And so just so you can see like what the natural color
Hmm.
is like. And so the way that process works is really cool, which is something I'd never seen before working in that factory. Is that it puts like a layer of powder, of nylon powder, and then lasers kind of bounce off mirrors. And there's like code for like the angle of everything, so that's how these like shapes are made. And then it also builds layer by layer, just like this printer, but it's just a different material and different process. And so what's nice about this is that it's very like flexible, so I can
Oh, wow.
squeeze it, and that's why like when I Hulk smash things against the wall to test their durability, they don't break because it's very it's soft. But I also do, for example, I design my own beads. So I'm wearing a bracelet right now. These are little bubble beads.
Oh my gosh.
And so these are printed on that. And so I 3D model, and I also go through tons of testing as I do for everything. because figuring out like the printer can only print so finely. Like if something's really tiny, it can only do it so well. And so finding kind of like what that sweet spot is, because I wouldn't want something that's like so huge, but I also don't want something that's like so small that it's really fragile or just like looks ugly. Because I'm very like about how my things look. Like it has to be really nice. Um, but yeah, and so yeah, the process is really like, and it's just I'm really happy that I left that factory job, as you know, because I want to do this full time. But I'm really happy that I was there, and that even before that I was working in manufacturing, just because it changed so much of my processes as an artist. And because I feel like sometimes I put pressure on myself, like, oh, everything has to be hand done, it has to be like 100% my hand the entire way. But I'm realizing like no, like sometimes like we have this technology available to us in this day and age, and so why not fuse that with these like raw hand skills that I do love, but it saves time. Like if I had to make each of these from, I don't know, clay or something every single time, that's like so much to me unnecessary labor when like my hand is still involved. And even the fact that I designed this myself on, 3D modeled it from scratch, like, that's still my hand. It's still like drawing. It's just a different method of doing that. And so I really like mixing kind of tech and art together because a lot of people think that they're like separate. Um, Especially in schools and stuff. Like I worked in an elementary school for a few years ago. I was like the art teacher. And having some people say to me like, "Oh, you're so lucky you don't have to teach anything because it's just art." And I was like,
Oh.
"Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Like, so many skills, even if they're not directly applied. You could even apply like you need to know math to make art. And so it's a way to apply these other skills that are deemed more important. But also, being an artist doesn't mean that you just kind of like sit in a corner and paint all day and don't use your brain. Like there's so much involved. And so a way to kind of like wed these things and show like no, like you actually like you can use both. You can use the tech stuff. You can use just raw artistic skills, and just make something really cool.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even know, like, for those of us who can't even imagine where to begin. I've seen a 3D printer before, but like to model something in 3D, what is that process? Do you physically make one? Is it just all on a computer? Like, what is that? To model something in 3D, what does that mean?
Hmm. So for my process in particular, I just go directly into the 3D modeling software. And what I use is called Onshape, which is online and free. So if anyone, gets inspired and wants to also learn how to make stuff, like it's like these like 3D printing is kind of a field that's very esoteric nowadays, and people think it's like, oh, super fancy and like only for engineers or whatever. But the average household, can totally get started. They even like this desktop printer, I think was like maybe 150.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so I just go into the 3D modeling software, and then sometimes I'll like take a picture of something and have it as a base, and then just kind of like trace certain details of it. But a lot of the time, like if it's in front of me, like with my drum, I obviously have it, so I can just look at it and kind of draw on the in the software, and then I just take it from there. But there are ways of modeling things where you'll have like a physical object, and they have scanners, and so you scan certain things, and then it translates into a 3D model. But I just don't do that personally for my project. I don't have the equipment for that, and I think there's like, obviously, if something's really tiny, it's harder to like scan it or whatever. I'm sure they have like really fine-tuned scanners, but I mean, I don't know that much about that process.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Okay,
want
so
to,
you're
but it is just another potential thing that people do.
gotcha. So you're in there, you're drawing it. You're basically drawing it into the computer and then printing it out with one of these couple of different processes. Then you have this product and it's white, and you go in there and you hand paint it, and then you wear it and then you throw it against a wall, is what you were saying, right? To make it break.
Exactly.
Excellent. And
Also, because like no, but if I just drop it, like that's a realistic thing that can happen with jewelry. But like, who's gonna really Hulk smash their jewelry against a wall?
I have never,
Like,
I don't know.
I wish I could say the
I'm
same.
really mad. For science, I love it. That's awesome. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so like that's something that the chances of it happening are like 1 in a million. At least I would hope so. So if it can survive that, then it can survive the average, or like it should survive the average like level.
Absolutely. I would have never thought, I mean, because these earrings are so lightweight. So I love that because I like big earrings, but I don't like the earrings that like drag down on my ears. So they're so lightweight, but to know that, yeah, if I accidentally smash it against the wall, it's going to be totally fine. Comforting to know. So you mentioned that you have now gone full time with this endeavor, like in the last week. Yeah.
Yeah,
So congratulations, number one, on becoming your own boss, Miss
yeah.
Entrepreneur. Like that is phenomenal. And I love that you've already been so prolific and people have already, like, I feel like the word is out. And I don't know, if it's just the circles that I walk in, like tend to be into what you're doing. But I found out about you, I think, shortly after you launched the company, which very much surprised me because it was such a complete and a beautiful online website and process and everything. Because you've been in business now for how long?
I think I started like January of 2020, and then the pandemic, of course, happened. Like I think I vended, and then within like 3 days, like lockdown. Like I vended in person at some event, and
Uh-huh.
then within like 3 days, like lockdown.
And so were you already online? Did you already have a website?
Yeah. So I basically like I what's funny is like the very first business cards that I made, I was like, oh, like I don't have a website yet, so I'm not gonna put anything because I imagine that the website will take me like a few months. But then I use Shopify for my kind of like website vehicle or however to say it.
Mhm.
But I made the website in like an hour, and it's and I was like, crap, I already ordered the I already ordered the business card. There's no website on my business card. But so it was kind of like things didn't go perfectly smoothly, and like even my website now, like I'm gonna work this weekend on just making it a little bit nicer. Because like once I made it, I never really had time to like edit it, and I know very little about like web design and stuff, but now that I'm full time, I can actually take the time to just like sit, take notes, look at other websites that I really like, and see how I can make kind of keep my own style and personality and energy, but then just mix other things, like organize it a little bit more. Especially now that I have more and more products, like I need to organize it.
Yeah. No, so you have been prolific in the short year and a half that you have been online. What is coming down the pipeline now that you are full time in this business? I can only imagine it's going to be just a deluge of really cool stuff. What are your plans?
So for the end of this year, I'm hoping to have Christmas ornaments. Because I got a lot of requests for it last year, and then this year I meant to do them way earlier, but I had Corona this past March. Um, like hospitalized twice. Like couldn't walk for almost 2 months. Like it was like so like I felt very behind in a lot of the ideas I wanted to do. Because even though I didn't have to work, obviously, but and it was funny. I was like feeling guilty. I'm like, damn, I'm like home all day, every day. And I'm not like making anything. But then it's like, but I can't even like walk to the bathrooms. I need to chill. Like, I need to be forgiving. Need to be like realistic. But yeah, so I want to have Christmas ornaments out hopefully this year. I got a heat press for like mugs and shirts a while ago, but I haven't. And I've like made stuff for myself, but I haven't um, had enough time to really like, or made enough time rather, to really figure out how I want to ship everything, especially mugs. Like I wouldn't want to ship something and it breaks. Um, but yeah, now so hopefully I don't know if I'll have that in time for the holiday season, but it's always next year. That's what I've been telling myself. Like especially I'm so new, I do everything myself.
Mhm.
So if I don't have everything done all the time, like it's okay.
No, and from business owner to business owner, you will never have everything done because there's always something more you want to do. And so, like, take your time and enjoy that process, right? And add something new for this Christmas, and then next Christmas you have something new, or next year you have something new. And it's an ever-growing process. I can only imagine, like, where you're going to go with all these amazing ideas coming out of your brilliant mind. Like, this is going to be epic. It's
Yeah.
going to be.
I always joke that I have like a decade of ideas already.
Uh-huh.
Like I can't go out of business anytime soon because I want to do those ideas.
Yes, you have too many things you want to do. That's
Exactly.
so
I can't stop.
good.
And like I even want to have like an app in the future,
Ooh.
like not related to like jewelry in particular, just like Arabic music related app of some kind. Like I want to like, and I joke that I'll become like the Amazon of the Arab world for like Arab themed items, just
I
like
love this. I love
everything.
this.
Move out, Bezos. Like,
Yeah, here comes Angie. Watch
yes,
out.
exactly.
I love it. Well, then I also love, last time we chatted, you mentioned to me sort of some visions for the future of supporting Arab musicians with the work that you do. So tell people about that because I found that particularly visionary. I really loved it.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Hopefully, maybe I can finally work on it this coming year since I'll have some more time. But I'm thinking of making some kind of package or just connecting like Arab musicians to certain items that people can buy, and so they get, let's say, a lesson or like a limited access video, some kind of something. And then everyone will be like Arab musicians, and I really want to highlight also Arab women musicians, queer Arab musicians, because obviously these are sub communities that also don't get enough exposure. Because something I noticed in like the belly dance world and just the Arab music scene, like I live in New York City, and so I kind of I go to things, um, and particularly in dance, like Arabs are not in like the leadership roles within our own art forms in diaspora and even abroad. Like when I'm in Lebanon and I see a belly dancer somewhere, she's usually not Lebanese. She might be Russian or like just whatever. Same thing in Egypt. There's so many like foreign dancers, um, and like on one hand, it's like great people are engaging in this culture, and that's amazing, and like that's how you further normalize, which is like goes along with my goals. But at the same time, it's like, well, we should also promote like the natives of these cultures. And so for me, like having an opportunity to, especially the more that I get, let's say, well known and I get more exposure and whatever, like if I can bring up so many other artists who are like me with me, because everything is community based. Like even Arabic music wasn't invented by like one person. Like it's generations and generations contributing to this art form. Like everything is community made. And I feel like even for myself, like I would never have come up with these ideas without being part of a community. And so the idea of like self-made is like a complete lie. I don't believe in that at all. Even though I do everything myself, someone taught me 3D modeling. Like I was exposed to a culture my whole life. I was born and raised in New York City, but both my parents are from Lebanon, and then we used to always visit. Um, and so everything is like community made. And so if I'm community made and I get success, I want to bring my community with me because I feel like that's the least I can do, as just like a gratitude for just where I come from and everyone who's supported me.
That is so powerful. And I love that. I love the idea of the rising tide floats all boats, right? Like if you've been supported, you want to support back. And I think that creating that tie, right? It's like someone might come to you, like I came to you because I'm like, oh, cute finger symbol earrings. I'm sold. That's awesome. But if with that I get tied into getting to know a new Arab, sagat player that I can follow or take a class from. Like you said, the people on the train who are like, oh, what's your earrings? And then suddenly they're curious, right? This is the way people get into a new culture, is what, through the food, through the dance, through the music, through the art, right? Because it's an easy first touch. And that's when you can draw them in.
Exactly.
Then they get sucked into the rabbit hole and they start dancing every
It's a
day.
gateway drug,
Yes,
exactly.
they want
You
to
get that
learn
first, like
more.
you get that, and then it's like,
That first hit.
yeah, exactly, and then it's like, I need more.
Yeah, you really
I don't know if you're gonna cut that out because it's like hard drug reference. I
love that
do
kind of show, Angie.
PSA. I do not do any drugs. I know it sounds like it because I'm so vibrant.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. So, would you real quick before we start to wrap up, you showed me earlier, but I didn't get a recording of it yet. Your amazing earrings. These are a new design, yes, that you just created. Will
Yeah,
you
I
share
made
this?
them this week. On my first week of quitting that job, I was like, I want to just celebrate by designing something new. And so these are little shisha pipes. I'm obsessed with them. I said about literally, I always do this. I'm just like, I make something and I'm like, I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, I really love, and also the same thing, they're super light. I don't know if it shows on like my webcam, but I put liquid in like the bottom so it looks like it actually has water, like the real ones do.
You have liquid in there. It looks like glass, right? The bottom. I mean, I know it's not glass; it's the plastic, right? And it's clear.
Yeah.
There's liquid inside there too.
Yeah, I don't think it shows a little bit in person, especially when I kind of move it. I don't know if it shows on webcam, but I just put like super glue, like clear super glue inside, just so it gives it a little bit more of like a realistic, um, look and feel. But yeah, I'm so obsessed with these, and they're made in several parts, and so this is like so. Since I made them this week, I'm gonna wear them for the next week. um, just to make sure that they're comfortable to wear all day, and especially like with hair like mine, and like, if things get stuck, like how does it feel? And then they will have their Hulk smash against the wall test. But because these are several parts that I attach together, that's why I'm a little bit more, because everything else, like this is just one piece. This is also basically one piece, and these are actually hollow on the inside.
Oh,
Even though they have like coffee, what I did, I'm so like proud of myself for this like little design thing. So people get the top secret. I haven't announced this like publicly anywhere, so only your followers get this top secret info. So what I did, like when I 3D printed them, I made like a kind of like an X of material, and it's also where this hook is able to stand from, like to for the like for this. And then I 3D print. I think I have one. Yeah, I have one. Of course, I have one just like right next to me. But I 3D print this like a little disc, and so this slides over like this hook here. And then I super glue that to like that base. So then it becomes there's only this much of like resin. I use resin for the fake coffee. So there's only about like this much that's actually full, and that's what helps it look full but stay super light. Because I'm the same thing. I love big earrings, but I've always hated just how much they weigh down my ear.
oh my
Um,
gosh. That's I love. So I feel like you have obviously like the technical know-how, the artistic background, like the ability to not only sculpt but paint, but you're an engineer. Like you have an engineering brain to say
Engineer.
you're an engineer. Oh my gosh. Engineer the artiste. I love it.
Exactly. I'm a pun master,
Yeah,
clearly.
apparently. I love it. But that, I mean, that's not something, I don't know if that's something you learn in sculpting, in school, but like that concept of engineering it so that it's durable, so that it's beautiful, so that it's practical, so that it's lightweight. Like, it's the whole package here, Angie. I'm so impressed. Like, what you've created is so beautiful and so unique. And I appreciate you sharing your talents with the world and sharing the inside scoop with my audience. I want nothing more than for you to completely like kill it with your business, because what you've created is something so unique and so heartfelt and so authentic. I think it's a rare combination of beautiful characteristics that are hard to find in the world these days. So bravo and thank you. Like bravo, amazing, amazing work. And I want everybody
I'm gonna cry.
on several pairs of earrings and necklaces and just show off their incredible, cultural Arab cultural instrument, and I love all the food and the hookah now. This is great. I have to get back on the website. I haven't been in too long, and apparently there's new stuff I need to explore. But can you let people know, where they can find you if they'd like to follow you and support you?
So in terms of social media, on Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Sound of Mazzika, Mazzika, which is also the URL for my website. So it's just soundofmazzika.com if they want to, order from me or just check out the stuff that I offer. On the Facebook and Instagram, it's more just like pictures of things, pictures of people, wearing some stuff. Um, but yeah, those are the main places. If you want to know me, Angie Assal is my like personal Instagram, or you could add me on Facebook. Angie and then Assal, which means honey in Arabic.
Because
Um,
you're so sweet. How about Mazika? Does that have a translation?
Yeah, it just means music. And so, because yeah, because like the way that I came up with the name for the company, I was just joking with a friend about like Sound of Music, like the movie,
Oh.
and I was like Sound of Mazzika, and and then I was like, ooh,
That is perfect. Oh my goodness, that's great. I love it. Oh my gosh, Angie, this is incredible stuff. Thank you so much for sharing. I cannot wait to like watch you explode because you have done so much already, and the fact that you are now full time with your passion, like that's something that so few people have the ability and the pleasure and the honor of doing. And you've obviously worked hard to get to where you are, and you've built something that is very viable, very feasible. And I cannot wait to witness your journey and help support you in any way that I can. And I appreciate you
thank you.
so much. It's been amazing getting to know you, and we will definitely connect. And I'm gonna go on and get some new earrings really soon.
I do just say one last thing, because I do want to give credit to the hard work that I have done, but it's also a lot of luck in terms of me being able to quit my day job. Like I live at home with my mom, my parents. This despite kind of like the stereotypes with Arab parents, like they've supported me being an artist like my whole life. And so I just want to give like show gratitude towards that because also like not everyone has that opportunity, and it goes back to me saying like about like self-made, like most of it's luck. And so I do want to just acknowledge like yes, I work hard and I'm proud of myself and I do appreciate you saying that, but so much of it is just like complete chance. um and so I don't know, I just like to acknowledge that because I would never like somebody potentially watching and they're like, oh, I can't do that, that means I'm whatever. And it's like no, like I'm also just very very lucky and I don't want to skip acknowledging that. Sorry to like,
No,
but
thank you for saying that because I think that is something that it's a beautiful part of who you are and your journey. And I think we all need to, yeah, you're right. Anyone's success in life, while it might be partially a product of hard work and dedication, there are a huge series of circumstances that have brought us to where we are, many of which are not under our control. And so that's
exactly, yeah, you said it more like
uh,
packaged.
only because you're taking all the ideas first. And so I can only hope that someday, my daughter will look at me and be like, thanks for all you've done, right? Isn't it's every parent's dream to be like recognized for the part that they've played in your creation and then your ability to create and make the life that you love. And so that's awesome. Oh, well, thank you, Angie, for this. It's been so wonderful talking to you. And I look forward to keeping in touch and keeping tabs on all the awesome stuff happening at Sounds of Mazzika. So thank you.
So much.
So what did you think? I mean, first of all, isn't her energy just absolutely incredible? I adore this woman. She's amazing. And I'm so blown away by what she's been able to create in such a short amount of time when passion and dedication combined with culture and love for what you do, magic is created. And I think that she is an amazing example of what people can do when they're inspired, right? I would love for you to support her. I am super excited about the work that she does, and I feel like we need more amazing ambassadors like this in the world. And so find her online at Sound of Mazzika, check out her stuff, and enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me.